corner, and also the opportunity to maybe sneak down the inside of turn 2 Southern Loop. It's a really tough and engaging circuit.
Certainly one part of the track that always gets me is turn 9, Lukey Heights. The cars can get really unsettled over there because it goes around a left-hander, but you've got to make sure that you can stay to the left-hand side of the track to get a good run into MG. And as you said, turn 12 can give you a good run. If you can get a good run out of 11 and 12, gives you a good run down Gardner Straight into 1. So, I mean, interesting track for round 11, and I'm looking forward to this one. Of course, we know Supercars used to go to Phillip Island, and of course now recently hosts MotoGP and World Superbikes. So be interesting to see how the V8s go tonight with iRacing.
2 classes for SCOPS supports, 2014 and 2019 cars. So 2014, we've got the FG Falcon, we've got the VF Commodore, and in 2019, slightly more recent Gen 2 machines of the ZB Commodore and the Ford Mustang. This is where the points stand heading into this round. For the 2019 cars I was just describing, Dylan Walker leads the way from Lockhart, Brownlee. Those two head and shoulders clear of the rest with Chad Lewis, Robbie Bradbury, Dylan Gray, Gavin Cox, Peter Pavlovich, Dean Alessi, Matt Bailey, and Hayden Cupid as our top 10 there. Let's look at the other class, Brandon.
Yeah, top of the class at the moment is Aaron Gilbert, been on a stellar run this season so far. Henry King, his teammate, in second place. Matt Haywood in third. Daniel Stevens, Joe Mahoney, Robert Crisdale ran at the top 6. Martin Lipsky, Gary Watson, and Colin Bruns on 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then the top 10 rounded out by Dave Arney, who we haven't seen for a little while though, but certainly looking forward to seeing who is in tonight. But look at that 549 point lead over Aaron Gilbert, between Aaron Gilbert and Henry King. I think Aaron's just about run away with this one.
They're all running on to track for qualifying right now. 15 minutes by the looks of it. We've had our first couple of runs. Now pit lane is very, very active. And so that's the 15 minutes of qualifying underway right now. 2 races ahead of us. 14 laps with no pit stop, and then an inverted top 10 with 1 compulsory pit stop. 21 laps. A little bit of fuel restriction in play there as well will force the pit stop window in race 2. Different for the different cars. They consume differently. They've got different fuel tanks. But other than that, it's usually pretty close between them. Slightly different characteristics, perhaps on a slightly different tyre as well. Daniel Stevens of the 2014 car, by the looks of things, is up top at the moment. From Dylan Walker second in the outright, we go to the on-track action, and we go to some of these beautiful, beautiful liveries that the teams have put effort into getting out here.
Yeah, absolutely some fantastic liveries. I have absolutely been looking forward to this one. We've seen it all over the Discord chat as well as to who's running what. You can see this beautiful Castrol retro livery here for Aaron Gilbert, the #1 Jim Shifter's car. Looking absolutely stunning. I love it. You can see there's some more liveries out the back. Looking forward to seeing how it all looks on the grid. We're winding the clock back to practically 2003 here with this look. And we can see here Sean Slater now as well in the Paul Wheel Racing Team Brock car for Jinx Shifters as well, the number 39, as he comes out of the pit lane to try and get himself a lap underway and get a feel for the car and the tires on this magnificent circuit. And we'll see what he can do as well. Sean Slater returning to the series earlier this year, so we'll see how he can go tonight.
Looking at some of the weather, 30 degrees Celsius on the track, but there is a bit of a breeze blowing from the north. It's doing 17 k's an hour. Thomas Hinds goes to the top. There's a couple of drivers that have just begun flying laps right now. I think Daniel Stevens is on an out lap, but you should have Aaron Gilbert on a flying lap, Dylan Gray on a flying lap, Lockhart Brownlee on a flying one as well at the moment. And so if you're only getting 1 good lap out of your tyres, I think everyone's already had 1 run, is now doing their second run. You might be lucky to squeeze in 4 flying laps in this 15 minutes, but you've still got to maximise every single one of them. And if you're on a good lap and you have a mistake like a brake lockup where you run off the track and you throw that away, you're not going to have too many chances to recover from it.
No, I certainly won't. I mean, this track can be a little bit tough on tyres with all the fast, loaded corners that it has here, especially this last little section here between turns 11 and 12. We've got a running on board now with Dan Stevens here as he comes across through turn 12 now on a lap at the moment, not looking to flash. Passes that time of 128.6. It's currently got him in second place. And Dan will come across the line into a 132, so he might have had a little bit of a moment somewhere that we may have missed. But absolutely awesome to see Dan Stevens back up the top again in the Kmart liveried car there. I'm sure a lot of people would have some memories of that. Mate Haywood now coming around in the number 47 car, flying around the last corner there, gets two wheels up on the curb, beautifully done. Comes across the line, that's going to be a good flyer. Where does it put him? It puts him at a 128.5. So that puts him up to second place overall in the standings. Good little mixture you can see there on the left of 2014 to 2019 cars. Absolutely loving it. And shout out to Matt Haywood for that one. Thomas Hins parking up in the lane, might be waiting for a last minute run possibly. Looking back now at Dylan Gray in the Majors Garage number 52. And look at that. Oh, come on, Lockhart. He's been running different liveries this whole season, David. I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on that, but this is another livery. This is his 10th different livery, or 11th different livery throughout the entire season. This is just absolutely amazing stuff. Shout out to Lockhart for this look. Going retro Holden. Absolutely loving it. The golden Holden livery with the Revolution Raceway. Driving for Orbital Bay Motorsport. Let's see if he can get himself a good lap. Got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Let's see. Oh, okay, and not going to go for it. Going to come into the pit lane. Might try and stick on another set of tyres. It's on the grass. Okay.
72k an hour pit lane speed limit now. Used to be a bit slower around Phillip Island. It's picked up. What you're often seeing is the drivers have their flying lap and then they look like they're still pushing for another flying lap, but they're racing around to get back into pit lane to get their new set on without dawdling and dilly-dallying. And once you've done your flying lap, you don't need to look after those tyres anymore. It's on the out lap that they pace themselves a little bit more than the in lap. They're still pretty well attacking it. Michinahan in 8th in class. And that's 14th outright. It's on an outlap right now. Just looking at the cars in front, trying to space yourself so you're not too close. Once the car in front goes out the final corner, you can also do likewise. 4 minutes on the clock. Might struggle to get another run in after this, so this could be getting towards make or break. There's a bit of a miscommunication on the pit exit there as well, heading down towards turn 1. Didn't catch who that was out ahead. Thomas Hins has gone to the top, and tell us about this livery.
Oh, this is an absolutely gorgeous looking livery. This one, number 62, the Thomas Hins car. I haven't seen this one being
it's
featured.
Ford Credit, isn't it?
I think that's a Ford Credit. There you go. So thank you for that one, Jay. But yeah, Ford Credit Glen Seaton livery. Love it. Absolutely awesome looking. Love the blue. Looks stunning. And good job by Thomas Hins to getting that one out. Gavin Cox, the 555. And this is giving Fujitsu vibes. This is definitely Gary Rose Motorsport Fujitsu livery right here, of course. Absolutely awesome to see that one come out. Also giving a little bit of vibe of a Coca-Cola livery there as well. And Chad Lewis coming around turn 1 as well. Joe Mahoney in the number 36. Unfortunately, does look to be running a retro look for his car. And Wayne Taylor, I mean, you know, you don't have to be a genius to figure out what livery this is coming off of. This is a Shell V-Power livery from 2003.
Oh, Shell Helix, I think.
Oh, Shell Helix, sorry. I spoke a little too quickly there, but yeah, Shell Helix.
Which had a lot more of the yellow in it, whereas the current one is a lot more red with just a little bit of yellow for Shell V-Power.
Yeah,
There's
definitely
the
is.
fuel versus Shell Helix, which is the oil product. Yeah, that's...
It's Galtex?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be Haviland, wouldn't it? I feel like that was Celtic spec thing. Okay, sorry about that, Jay. There
No
we
mistaking
go.
this.
Oh yeah, no. There's like I said, you don't have to be a genius to figure this one out. Love it. Very Holden Racing Team-esque as well. Loving it. And Colin Brunn's now sliding out of the southern loop as well. So we're going to
Tell
have
you what
some
makes
fun.
this is the white wheels. The white painted wheels is what makes this look and sells it so good.
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, you cannot run a retro HRT car like this without the white wheels. It does sell it very, very nicely. I absolutely love this one.
Bring back the 5 spokes. Henry King goes to 5th in his class. But I'm looking at that clock. It doesn't have many minutes left. Your fastest lap is a 1:28, and there's less time than that left on the clock. So for getting around to complete a lap, time is quickly running out. Colin Brunn's here, 10th in his class. Best of a 1:30.475, but his first sector was a personal best. His middle sector that he's just gone through about matched his personal best. That's had a bit of a wiggle and a bit of a slide coming out of the penultimate corner. And then you've got this long final corner. He's a bit wide of the apex. It's going to hurt getting to power, but needs to improve on that 1:30.4. We're going to manage it, go to a 1:30.1. Keeps him in the same spot, unfortunately. To move outright, he needed a couple more tenths still. To move in class, he needed 4 more tenths.
Yeah, absolutely tough to do, especially around this track, especially with all the long loaded corners, and we're trying to manage traffic as well. But with less than 30 seconds on the clock, these will be the final laps coming around. So if you're not on a flying lap, you're not near the end of your lap, you are not going to improve. Aaron Gilbert now with a bit of a wiggle out of 11 has decided to...
Chad Lewis, I think, is... Oh, no, he's in the pit lane. I was about to say, Chad Lewis looks like he's one of the last drivers who could have improved.
We've got Lockhart Brownlee there in the background, coming down towards the line, and that is it. So checkered flag is out, and we have our grid set.
We do, at least for race number 1, we do, which is going to be 14 laps, no compulsory pit stop, and then we head into that race 2 that's longer with the compulsory pit stop. Grid for race number 1 will look like this. It's the 2014 spec cars. Up front, Thomas Hinz and Matt Hayward, the front row, Aaron Gilbert and Daniel Stevens, and then Dylan Walker, first of the 2019 cars in that category, 5th outright alongside Dylan Gray. Then Lockhart Brownlee and Henry King, Gavin Cox and Chad Lewis, then Joseph Mahoney and Dean Alessi, Sean Slater, Billy Rowley, Mitch Nahon, Peter Pavlovich, Wayne Taylor, and Colin Bruns into 18th. And then Martin Lipsky, Gary Watson, and Brendan Murdoch seem to be the last drivers who've set qualifying times that we should expect to see. Yes, indeed. They're all heading to the grid now. The countdown begins. And hey, nice yacht out there. Nice weather for a yacht, maybe. Air temperature, yes. Track temperature, yes. Wind, maybe not. But the good thing about a big boat, Brandon, is if you just drop the anchor, then the boat points into the breeze and you'll be sheltered on the back deck with your canapes and champagne.
Certainly can. I mean, can have yourself a nice little chill time out there in the water, but this is what we've come to see. We've come to see some V8s thrown around the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit here tonight for 14 laps, and then another one at 21 laps later on. I'm looking forward to this one. This should be an exciting race right here. I'm looking forward to this. David, you want to make any bets on this one?
I think a supercar might win.
Depends on what year you want to look at it. A couple of guys haven't done their retro liveries for it.
I'm tipping Dylan Walker. I think the 2019 cars are just stronger through the midfield. They got that kind of connection and form across the whole season that I think is going to really stand them in good stead come this kind of finals competition.
I do want to say though, I think permanent circuits have proven to bring the 2019 cars closer to the 2014 cars throughout this season. We did see the 2019 cars fairly dominant at the last round of Motegi, so we'll see how they go here tonight for this one. You can see all the 2014 cars are lined up. 4 of the 2014 cars are lined up on the grid, and less than 20 seconds to go.
What you can't afford in this race one is to have a DNF for a long repairs, because it'll put you well deep in the field for race number 2. So things are going to get elbows out and a little bit antsy here for this race one, but there is still positions at risk, and you want to be inside of that top 10 to get the invert. Starting procedure begins. Revs will rise from all of our V8s at Phillip Island to begin Enduro season for V8SCOPS in 2025. And your pole sitter gets good movement, but in second place, Matt Haywood, who looks like he flies out of the box and moves ahead of Thomas Hinds, Daniel Stevens and Dylan Walker with a great start. That's the ZB Commodore all in black from 6th on the grid. He's going to go round the outside of turn 1, look for second place, but he's run in too deep. Ford credit car comes back across for second place. Thomas Hinds there. Matt Haywood with that great launch will lead them out of the southern loop. Things are going to be touch and go while we're still side by side, heading through turns 2, turn 3 into that braking zone at Miller Corner.
Yeah, Matt Haywood got a brilliant secondary part of that start, just fired away like a rocket. You can see now Dan Stevens on the inside. Aaron Gilbert has to check up a little bit. He's got Dylan Gray right behind him now. You can see the pack just funneling, trying to find positions here. Lockhart Brownlee now trying to maintain position there from Aaron Gilbert, trying to keep his position. Look at Aaron Gilbert now. The 2014 cars, you can get on the power a lot earlier than the 2019 spec machinery, but Lockhart just keeps him at bay. He's right behind the rear wing of the Holden.
It's a drama elsewhere in the field. Chad Lewis has dropped to the very tail. Billy Rowley and Colin Bruns have meatball flags displayed, which is going to put a real ruin on their race, potentially. This is a look. Chad Lewis going nowhere on the race start. I reckon that's where some of the meatballs might have come from as well.
Yeah, that seems good. Yep. All right, so Chad Lewis, don't know whether he stalled it. Whoa,
Dylan Gray out there.
For Gray, that is absolutely balls to the wall stuff. Absolutely amazing right there. And Billy Rowley now comes in to repair that meatball. But yeah, absolutely terrible start there for Chad Lewis. Not too sure what went on there. Whether he's just forgotten to put in a gear or just wasn't sitting in the sim at the time. You can see this beautiful battle here now with our 2014 and 2019 cars going at it. Taking Dylan Gray in the 2019 Mustang.
Gray on the final corner. He's going well now. A three-way squeeze, and Dylan Gray around the outside. He's going to get absolutely hip and shouldered. We're still side by side heading towards Siberia.
Joe was on the grass there for a second, actually coming through turn 4. He was well on the grass, all 4 wheels, just trying to make the corner. I don't even think he thought of backing out and letting the 2 Mustangs through. He's fighting this one. You can see it's just helped him out a little bit. He's now here to the 555 of Gavin Cox, and he's now up another position here, still scrambling, still trying to fight. We have a replay coming up of Brendan Murdoch here. Let's see what happened.
So we've just had dramas at Siberia. Now I think it's Chad Lewis is coming back through the field. He has a bit of a rear lockup, sticking his nose down the inside late at Siberia, and that rotates Brendan Murdoch. I think it parks in the way of Gary Watson there as well. And he actually struggles to get out of it until he bounces off the tyre bundle. We're heading for 14 laps here. No safety car just yet in any of our racing. Matt Haywood leading after that great standing start. But as Thomas Hinds settles into the rhythm, he was just a little bit quicker through the first sector this time. Slipstream plays an effect at a high-speed circuit like this. Peak end of straight speed over 285 kilometers an hour for some of these.
Absolutely quick stuff right there. Look at this, Aaron Gilbert now making note of this. He's passed both Dylan Walker and Lockhart Brown. He's a bit slow coming out of Siberia there. What's happened? Slow down?
No. Now will get shouldered a little bit heading up towards Lukey Heights. Lockhart Brownlee's moving around trying to find the best place to be. He settled on the inside here. He's battling Dylan Walker for the lead of that class. ZB Commodore versus ZB Commodore.
Yeah, Dylan Walker and Lockhart Brownlee, no strangers to each other, ex-teammates, and have been rivals this whole season. These two have, you cannot separate these two. They are locked into each other like a pure rivalry right here. It's Holden versus Holden. Look at Dan Stevens now wide out of turn 12 onto the grass, still keeps it, and that's going to allow Henry King a bit of a move. Is he looking up the inside? Let's see, he's kept it wide. Yep, there he is. You can just see Henry King in the number 2 and coming to the southern loop. He's going to run it wide. That is
Marbles out there on the exit of the southern loop. You don't want to end up out there.
That's cost him that one, so that's just put Henry King back a little bit. Might put him into the clutches of Joe Mahoney, as it looks Dylan Gray, as it looks as though now everyone is starting to maybe try and find some more moves from map 4 of 14. Lockhart Brownlee hasn't found a way through yet on Dylan Walker, and this is still looking pretty juicy here. Dan Stevens now will focus on Lockhart Brownlee, and that'll bring him into the battle as well. So let's see if Dan Stevens can make anything of this.
It's a really interesting fight for the lead of this 2019 class, as they're in between a bunch of those 2014 cars. Lockhart Brownlee's got Daniel Stevens just behind him, not in class. Aaron Gilbert just in front of Dylan Walker, not in class. As we get onto the straight, we'll see who's got the legs, because I think the speed in the slipstream is significant. 288 for Dan Stevens. Really liking the toe off the bigger aero, bigger wing of the 2019 cars around.
Certainly is. I mean, like I said before, I mean, the 2014 cars are easier to get on the power, but obviously 2019 cars are a little bit more aero in that, and you can see it's really helping now. The equipment circuit seems to even out the fight between the two. As you can see now, we've got a bit of a battle group forming here as well. Aaron Gilbert hasn't found a way to get away from Dylan Walker, but also going to keep an eye on the top two there. Matt Haywood and Thomas Hins have now closed in on each other. That's half a second gap there. We go on board with Lockhart Brownlee coming out of Siberia, going up towards Hayshed and Lukey Heights. This is actually the rest of the section of the track. I love this section. Over the curb, look at Henry King. 2 wheels over, trying to get the car rotated through there. And you can see Lockhart Brownlee now will look for a move. Not gonna get anyone there. Might try and set one up down towards the back. Here we go, look at this. On board now, Thomas Hins, the number 62 Team Jig Shifters car, our pole setter, not getting the best start, and is right up the back now of Matt Haywood, and will be looking to see if he can close that gap. Gap still at half a second at the moment. See if he can make anything happen here. He's probably hoping for Matt to make a little mistake, and so he can fly on past.
Lead close again in the Gen 2 2019 spec. Aaron Gilbert's just cleared away a little bit as this has gone on. Fastest lap for Gen 2 is 29.3, fastest lap for the Gen 1 29.1. And Gilbert settling in, moving just a little bit further away. Daniel Stevens and Henry King staying close on the back of this battle between Walker and Brownlee as well, so it could become a little closer to 1v1 for the lead of this class. Rear locking wide out in the grey for Lockhart Brownlee, going into Siberia, and this isn't what he wants, because Daniel Stevens will get between him and Dylan Walker.
And now put Dan Stevens in there. Lockhart's not going to like that one. He will be looking for a fight back. He wants some more positions there. And let's see, the Shell Helix middle finger racing car has stopped.
Big lockup marks on the way in there. Is the engine toast? I think it is. I think he's had an issue downshifting in there, perhaps.
Yeah, that car is not moving anywhere. Probably going to be requesting a tow from race control. On board with Colin Bruns now. He's coming up to where that car is parked, and we'll go past his teammate, essentially from the same stable. And we'll see what race control want to do here on lap 7. We're halfway through.
Last lap, Hins was 2/10 quicker than Matt Haywood. Keeps it tidy as we go safety car in race 1. No pit stops expected, but now we're going to get a safety car which will compress the whole field. It'll be good news for everyone who had a meatball and had to repair it, like Colin Bruns and Billy Rowley. Might be good news for Chad Lewis. He's actually diving to pit lane now. He might fancy a new set of tyres off the restart. We'll see what everyone else elects to do. We'll probably be restarting with about 5 laps to run, you'd think.
I think that it would also be about 5 laps to run, maybe give a couple laps, obviously, with having to get rid of the stricken car there. But now this will really bring everyone closer back together. We'll also give Aaron Gilbert another chance at trying to make up some more positions, and also for maybe Dylan Walker and Lockhart Brownlee in the 2019 cars to make up some more time. Billy Rowley in the pits. That is a long time in the pits. Do you have a black mechanical flag to try and clear? Was he just...
I'm not sure. There might be multiple issues for Billy Rowley. Colin Bruns' meatball only took 9.5 seconds to clear. Field is coming past pit entry now, and I think Chad Lewis is the only driver who's deliberately elected to pit so far. Here's our safety car, BMW M2. And here is Chad Lewis. And he's just stayed on the lead lap too, by the looks of things, which is critical. Or he's just been waved around as the safety car tried to grab Matt Haywood. So that's fortunate. And Chad Lewis could be the firework to watch in the tail end if we're not too busy with our top 10.
Yeah, certainly. Interesting to see if he can make those tyres work. Of course, we saw there at the top of the screen just a few moments ago a 5-second penalty to be added onto Chad Lewis for contact with the 748 of Brendan Murdoch. So now we can see as this field compresses and gets led around by the safety car, Chad Lewis will be racing around to get to the back of this field, and will, as he said, we'll be on those fresher tires, so we'll hopefully be making gains. We'll keep an eye on that one. And I'm looking forward to this battle here, David, because I mean, we've got a mixture of 2 different generation V8s, and we've seen in this whole season what the 2019 cars can do on a permanent circuit, and Matt Haywood is out here leading this charge, and he's got a very game Thomas Hins, Aaron Gilbert, Dylan Walker, Dan Stevens, and Lockhart Brownlee on his tail. Do we think he can handle that that little pressure coming from the back?
Safety car's pulling away. We'll restart this lap with 6 to go. 1 lap earlier than I guess I was thinking. We are ready to go. Pressure on Matt Haywood now. He was very good at a standing start versus Thomas Hins, but how is he at the rolling restart? You've got Dylan Walker, Daniel Stevens, Lockhart Brownlee, Henry King, and Dylan Gray. It's Gen 2 and Gen 1 cars all mixed in together just in behind. Aaron Gilbert still in that outright podium. Approaching safety car 1 line, and Matt Haywood is going. We're getting back to racing speed. 6 laps to go for race 1 of V8SCOPS supports at Phillip Island. Dylan Walker also getting a really great restart. He gets into the slipstream of Aaron Gilbert. They're all past the start-finish line, heading at full speed down towards turn number 1. Thomas Hins is not close enough to challenge just yet.
He's not close enough. He could have gone with there. A little bit of a gap between Thomas Hins and Matt Haywood on the start.
And also quickly, Chad Lewis didn't catch the tail of the safety car field, so he did not restart with the field.
Oh, damn, that was, I think maybe 1 more lap, I think he would have gotten it. So I think that's a little bit of a bummer for him, as Dan Stevens and Lockhart Brownlee now going at it here. Lockhart Brownlee looking for a move. He's around the outside into 4. Oh, has to check up. Look at Henry King. He's coming up the inside now. He wants a piece of this. Lock on Brownlee. Oh, contact.
Brownlee's defending the insider Siberia there, which involved giving Henry King just a little bit of hip and shoulder. Dylan Gray, therefore, gets alongside him as well. So this is Gray in the Mustang, just in behind Henry King. That couple of laps behind the safety cars let everyone get their tyre temperatures back under control, and the Gen 2 cars are looking very racing now that they've had a chance to cool their tyres.
Yeah, certainly have been looking very racy. The Gen 2 cars now will be wanting to put the foot down and get up there. We'll see if they can make any more moves here with 6 to go. Whoa, Dylan Gray, a little loose out of 11, trying to get the power down in that Mustang. As you look at the rear, look here on the rear wing now, looking back towards Thomas Hens. Can Thomas Hens get a bit of a slipstream here? 0.2 of a second is the gap at the moment. It's a little bit closer now. Or does he want to make a dive? Look at this. Oh, he's poking the nose in, filling the mirrors of Matt Haywood. But now Thomas Hens has to be careful. He's got Aaron Gilbert right behind him. Look how close Hens is.
Gilbert's still got the fastest lap of the race as well, and he was the quickest car on that restart lap. Haywood's under pressure here. Hens is going to be braking on the grippy side of the road. You want to try to cross over if you can, heading towards Siberia here. So your race leaders are going to check the field up a little bit. Haywood driving very defensively. Gives Thomas Hens some opportunity, but it brings Aaron Gilbert closer. Then he'll stack up the field with Dylan Walker and Lockhart Brownlee. Dylan Gray ended up wide in Southern Loop this lap, and so he lost in his battle versus Henry King. So many battles all the way through race 1 here. And remember, we head to an invert of the top 10 outright into race 2. You want to be in the outright top 10. At the moment, Joe Mahoney's got that spot.
I was going to say, the live timing here, we'll see who's got the prime position to start on pole for the next one, which will be a 21 lap affair with compulsory pit stops. But we first got to get through the last 5 laps of this one. Look at how close Thomas Hens is. We're right on board with him now, going around the outside of turn 1. Oh, does he make it stick? Oh no, he has to be on the brakes a little bit longer to get around the corner there. He's run a little bit wide. Look at Gilbert, the teammate, is coming up as well. He wants a piece of this one and is gonna just stick behind Thomas Hens. Great stuff. I love this battling. This is so cool.
Consistently seeing that the outside line is devoid of grip. It's a bit grey. It's got marbles going around the outside of turn 1, going around the outside of turn 2, and not looking like good options, but it still looks clear for breaking down the inside of turn 4 as a possibility. Lock up further back in the pack. Nothing to separate your top 8. Joe Mahoney's, I think, got ahead of Gavin Cox, who's now the car in 10th place. So you're looking at the intermingled outright results on the timing column, and that's what will matter for the top 10 invert heading into race 2.
Top 10 invert will be an interesting one to see. It's been a while since we've last seen a top 10 invert race in V8s. Here this year.
Hens is looking so good in the traction zones suddenly, as if Haywood's maybe used up the rear tyres a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Haywood may have used up those tyres a little too much to try and get away from Hens now. He's going to have trouble trying to defend. Look at Hens going for it here. Once again on the outside. They're going to go side by side into 1. Is Hens going to make it stick? He tried this last lap. Oh, he's sliding it out. He gets out onto the grass. Gets it stopped for the Southern Loop and gets it back around. This is just more Gilbert back into the picture. Take a look at a replay.
For Watson, heading into the braking zone at MG, rear locking as he's going for downshifts in the curved braking zone, straight line braking zone here. Thomas Hens looks all the way to the inside. Matt Haywood's got to defend it. Top 3, super close with 3 to go. Of other positions changing hands, like Pavlovich and Sean Slater, they're just outside of the top 10. Walker doesn't necessarily need to defend this one versus Daniel Stevens. He looks to have Gen 2 wrapped up tight at the moment.
Gap on Lockhart Brownlee does Dylan Walker. I don't know why he's fighting this one too hard. Obviously he wanted to make sure he can get himself some good points in for the championship. Back up the front here, lock up. Oh, lock up for Matt Haywood there going to MG. Don't know how much that has hurt the tyres now. 3 to go. Once they cross the line, it'll be 2 to go. Thomas Hins following Matt Haywood through. Aaron Gilbert following Thomas Hins through. There's a bit of a gap back to Dylan Walker. See if Thomas Hins has anything for Matt Haywood with now 2 to go. And Dan Stevens has now gone past Dylan Walker, so that must have been done on the Gardner straight. So Dan Stevens now up to 4th. So that'll make 2014 cars 1 through 4. We see as the cars now come up towards turn 3 and down into Miller Corner, which is turn 4 here. Matt Haywood defending. He's defending like his life depends on it. He wants this race win.
It's working though because he can drive straight off the exit. And these cars that accelerate seemingly very well in a straight line, but not very well when you've got too much steering angle in. So then his exit's good enough just to hold on to that spot. And he can count down the laps that he needs to do that to keep his race win.
There's only really like 3 or 4 passing opportunities at this venue. So if you can just hold off at those 3 to 4 locations, he should be all right. But obviously there is that big slipstream down the front straightaway that you were talking about earlier, David.
Well, let's stay with it for the number as well, because it's 190 exiting the final corner and then grabbing the shift to 5th gear right in the middle. Heading towards downhill a little bit, flattens off at the grid, and then drops down again just towards the braking zone in the double slipstream. 286. Can I get a higher bid than 286? Apparently not, as we start the final lap of the race. That's the kind of speed they've got. Matt Haywood probably only sees 2 more spots where he needs to hold on to this one. Down into turn 4, down into Siberia and into MG as well. And Hins has just a squirrely moment exiting the southern loop. Not as close as he had been, and not as squirrely as this. Peter Pavlovich, and he was challenging to be inside of the top 10, and he won't with that.
And for a moment they're coming through into turn 2, probably just ran wide out of turn 1, which is common at this venue. Let's see if
at the moment it's Gavin Cox in 10th place, Joe Mahoney and Henry King ahead of him. That's the top 10 that will be inverted. Sean Slater and Wayne Taylor just outside of the top 10 as they battle on the final lap here. Wayne Taylor was quicker last lap, but Sean Slater is ahead of him for the moment. I think this is the last place Matt Haywood needs to cross his fingers and hold his breath, because he brakes very well in an MG, gets that bit of camber right against the apex, and he'll exit cleanly, even if Aaron Gilbert won't. The checkered flag awaits for our top 3, and it's the clutch drop from the standing start on lap 1 that gave Matt Haywood the lead that he has held through thick and thin across the safety car in 14 laps for race 1. V8SCOPS supports at Phillip Island. Matt Haywood wins outright, and for Gen 1, Dylan Walker wins for Gen 2, and the last driver inside the lucky top 10 that will start from pole position with the top 10 invert in race number 2 is Gavin Cox.
absolutely fantastic racing right there. As you said, Matt Haywood getting it from the get-go, dropping the clutch and getting away. We take a look at the results now for the top 10 overall. Matt Haywood, Thomas Hins, Aaron Gilbert, and Dan Stevens are your top 4 there in the 2014 cars. The 2019 cars rounded out here led in by Dylan Walker. Lockhart Brownlee is in second for that class with Dylan Gray behind him. Henry King, Joe Mahoney, and Gavin Cox. Let's flip them over, and that'll be your starting top 10 for race 2 coming up.
Yeah, shake it up like a bottle of flavored milk before you open it.
We take a look now at 7th down to 10th for the 2014 car. Sean Slater, Mitch Nayan, Martin Lipsky, Colin Bruns round out the top 10 in the 2014 spec. Gary Watson and Billy Rowley round out the rest of that field there. Take a look at our 2019 cars. We have Gavin Cox in 4th, who will start pole position for the next one, with Wayne Taylor, Peter Pavlovich, Chad Lewis, Brendan Murdoch, and Dina Lessie 9 laps down. Unfortunately having that moment. Not too sure what happened. And sorry, I've just been informed now by the producer, Chad Lewis and Brendan Murdoch will swap because of the 5 second that Chad Lewis has. Well, David, that was race 1 done. Let's get on for race 2.
Yeah, we sure will. It'll have a compulsory pit stop somewhere between lap 2 and 20. Will it have another safety car like lap 1? That's the question. Stay with us on SimSpeed TV. Race 2, V8SCOPS supports from Phillip Island as we kick off our big endurance weekend at Phillip Island of V8SCOPS. Looking forward to race 2 of supports.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back at Phillip Island, the compulsory pit stop race, race 2 ahead of us with the top 10 reverse grid, means that Gavin Cox will be starting up front ahead of Joseph Mahoney. And then Henry King and Dylan Gray are 3rd and 4th on the grid. Lockhart Brownlee's in 5th. Dylan Walker is in 6th. Behind them, Daniel Stevens will be starting from 7th, with Aaron Gilbert in 8th. Thomas Hinz is in 9th, and Matt Haywood, the race 1 winner, will start from 10th. Everyone behind is in the order that they finished race number 1. We've just been over at Sean Slater, Wayne Taylor, etc. And it means that Chad Lewis will once again be starting very deep in the field from 17th place. He's got some pace that we just didn't see in race number 1. This longer race number 2 with some strategy might play to his favour. Talking about that strategy again, there's a limit on the fuel tank side. So while the compulsory pit stop window is lap 2 to 20, anyone stopping before about lap 6, I think, 6 or 7 is going to struggle to make it. So pencil in lap 6 is your critical lap number. David Haynes with Brandon Stuck here on SimSpeed TV.
Yeah, if the first race is anything to go by, looking forward to this one. We add 7 laps to it, and with it being a compulsory pit stop race, we'll see if anyone makes the ballpark. We're hearing 16 laps on a full tank, so we'll see how the pit stops play out.
So maybe move critical lap number a bit closer to lap 5 then, a little bit earlier in the race. We'll see what people elect to do, whether very similar to race 1, although cooled off a little bit. Gavin Cox is starting from the pole position at Phillip Island. The green flag waves, and who gets away? Well, not 4th place Dylan Gray, well at all, but eventually does get going. 3 wide for the race lead. Sneaking down the inside and looking for the race lead goes Henry King from 3rd on the grid. He leads. And Joe Mahoney, Gavin Cox going backwards, heading towards turn 2. He's dropping through the field and quickly down into 5th even as Dylan Walker gets down the inside as Southern Loop. The exit here off turn 2, sweeping through turn 3 and the braking zone at turn 4 is oh so critical. Joe Mahoney and Henry King and Dylan Walker will be very pleased with their race starts. The battle's on between Walker, Brownlee, already for the race lead. The inside belongs to Brownlee, who's just going to try to crowd out Dylan Walker. Everyone else looks to get through. Miller Corner relatively clean.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant start there by Joe Mahoney. Gets a good run out of the corner. Oh, as Matt Hayward's gone around, Aaron Gilbert.
Race 1 winner catches it.
Yeah, and it looks like Aaron Gilbert might have been involved in that one. Let's see if we can get a bit of a replay on that. As we can see now, back up the front here, Joe Mahoney, followed in by Henry King, Lockhart Brownlee, Dylan Walker, Dan Stevens. That's your top 5. Henry King going to go around the outside. Dylan Walker going to go on the inside. There's a bit of a touch there between the two. 319 Commodores, and get through pretty cleanly over there. That's brought Dan Stevens up a little bit closer. Aaron Gilbert is right behind Dan Stevens as well. So 2 2014 cars, 2 2019 cars, followed again by a couple of 2014 cars. This is a battle for the top 6, and just completed lap 1. On board now, Dylan Walker, 285, 287 coming into turn 1. So a little bit quick there. A little bit of a slipstream there to help as well. Look at this battle pack here coming through Southern Loop now. This is only the 2nd lap of this one. Aaron Gilbert looking for a move already. We go on board now with Thomas Hiddens, who has a front row seat to this.
Sure does. Mahoney places himself defensively, and a big dive from Daniel Stevens trying to get past Dylan Walker. Those two are side by side. Walker's still got the inside for Siberia. And having positioned himself there, Daniel Stevens now finds himself vulnerable as Aaron Gilbert sneaks through. So having had a go, it hasn't turned out amazingly for Daniel Stevens. Now he's got to fight side by side with Hinsey, and he just squeezes Hinsey out of room, heading up towards Lukey Heights. Took Daniel Stevens a little while to get back in line, and then he gets a tap.
Oh, you can see it there on board the Dan Stevens rig. He's full lock again. Oh, sideways. Oh, beautifully done. Beautifully caught by Dan Stevens. Lost into the D1NZ, or the Australian Drifting Championship with that Commodore. Absolutely sideways on 2 different occasions. Full lock. The arms are working overtime. Oh, what a... Okay, lost recording. See, I can catch my breath a little bit. Look at now, Aaron Gilbert now going past Dylan Walker has now got a clear view ahead of Lockhart Brownlee with the fastest lap of the race at 28.9. And this battle pack has opened up a little bit. Dan Stevens down a few spots there, right behind our pole sitter for this race, Gavin Cox.
A couple of jets through the field as well. Chad Lewis is up 9 spots outright. Billy Rowley, after the meatball flag last race, is up 6 in this race as well. Chad Lewis is around the outside of Cox. These two are in the same class, so this is a battle for position. Oh, and Cox is going to get turned around. Chad Lewis is off the road as well. That is so far out in the grass. Chad Lewis was penalised for moving to Siberia last race. He's going to be penalised again this time.
Oh, another one there as well. Number 39 of Sean Slater. Oh, keep a spin around there as well. Okay, I think Race Control have a lot to
Rowley's
unpack.
got a second meatball.
And Rowley, oh no. So Rowley with another meatball. That's 2 races in a row now for Billy Rowley. So I wonder if he has got involved in that that scuffle there with Sean
He's just
Slater.
been escorted off the road as well at MG. So he's going to drop to the back of the field and need to make a pit stop.
Okay,
If he can hold on 2 laps, then he can get to far enough to make this a one-stop race though still. So I think that's the only thing that I think could help Billy Rowley here. We go to Lockhart Brownlee. He's leading class, watching the battle in the outright. Joe Mahoney and Henry King. Cooler track temps. Is that helping these Gen 2 cars? It's certainly helping the lap times. The fastest lap of the race going to Thomas Hins at a very rapid 1:28.6.
Yeah, certainly must be the cooler track temperatures certainly seem to be helping quite nicely here. So look at this onboard here from Lockhart Brownlee now, and we can see just how close he is getting to Henry King and Joe Mahoney at the front. And I think the field is now slowed to settle down just a little bit with all the fractar and all the spin arounds and accidents that we've had so far. So obviously race control are going to be a little bit busy tonight. And I wouldn't want to be in race control, so let me tell you that, David.
Brownlee is all over this, but the comparison is that he's hunting Joe Mahoney and Henry King versus race one, where it was Haywood, Hinz and Gilbert up the front there. This is Cox going down the inside, deep dive. Chad Lewis was round the outside. Lewis, I mean, he comes across a millimetre, but so does the racetrack in that place.
And Kevin Cox just misses the wall there. When you take a look here at Sean Slater, who's just gone around there. You can see who that was that's got involved with him. I think it's 14 cars. Might get that wrong. Here we go. Focus now on Sean Slater, who is that there. Sorry.
There's just a check up and he loses the rear on a tight line there. I don't think he really gets hit by anyone in any way. So, at 5 now, Billy Rowley's going to pit and be the first driver we see hit the pit lane. He'll be looking to clear that meatball and get to the end from here. Going to need to take a fair bit of fuel on board, and his car's going to be quite heavy. With these cooler track temps, I think it moves your pit stop deeper into the race because the tyres will hold on. There'll be less tyre undercut. If you stop later, you have less fuel in the car in the middle of the stint.
Yeah, certainly all the cooler track temperatures do help quite a bit, but Billy Rowley, of course, we know will have a full tank of fuel now, but obviously will have a very light tank at the end. Might have to be a little bit conservative there, looking at the back of Joe Mahoney's car now, looking out towards the back. You can see the angry pack of cars coming up towards him and following him around this Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit here. Henry King in second at the moment. And we go on board now. We shift our focus here to Aaron Gilbert on board now. Look at this telemetry here. You can see him following Lockhart, and you can see the different race lines that they might take, especially through this section here, turn 1 and turn 2. Aaron now
the marbles starts to build up on the outside there. Gilbert's had a good run.
Sorry for the interruption there, David. I was going to say the marbles are very dangerous, especially around a fast track like this. Aaron up the inside has got it done. Up to third.
So still some of the names to watch. Dylan Walker a little bit later in this race. Hinz and Aaron Gilbert as well, a little bit away from the race lead, could come on strong in the second stint. About now is when we really think the pit window opens, and it's a car park down at MG. Thomas Hinz right underneath the rear wing of Lockhart Brownlee. Joe Mahoney not breaking as deep into that corner as Henry King and Aaron Gilbert did, and you will have Aaron Gilbert pull out of the pack and heads the pit lane. Thomas Hinz is going to follow him, so these guys are looking for an early stop and for a little bit of a tyre undercut if they can get it. Anyone else going to follow them in? Any other takers? Going once, going twice? No, not this time. Joe Mahoney still leads with Henry King right with him. I can't say I know 100% what Pertec do, but I want to buy some right now.
Yeah, certainly got some pace here. Look at Henry King now in that Pertec esque livery there, right up behind Joe Mahoney at the moment, as Aaron Gilbert and Thomas Hinz have done their pit stops. Look at how close that is. 10.4 plays an 11-second pit stop, and they'll come out in the same order they came into the pit lane. And look at there, the two Dylans going at it, and Colin Bruns now up the inside of Peter Pavlovic and has made that move stick. So the Holden Racing Team esque livery, Colin Bruns there for MFR, has made his way up another position in this one.
And then wide on
Never mind, it's not
Siberius.
wide.
Now, you lose a lot of time going side by side through the haysheds here because it's not quite a flat-out corner at the best of times. And then if you can't take your preferred racing line like Pavlovich there, you're going to end up touching a little bit of the grass. Wide line over Lukey Heights. Will defend the inside for Colin Bruns, though. Mitch Nahon has closed massively on the both of them. Look at the marble build-up. Look at the camber on the apex. That's the line that I'd want, but it's not really working out for Colin Bruns, unfortunately. It's working out for Nahon.
Colin very wide there. He's left out high and dry. He's on the grass. And Mitch Nahon, who made his debut in this championship last time out at Mutegi, has just stuck it to a move on Colin Bruns and has moved up another position there. And you can see there now, looking at the back of Colin Bruns is Martin Lipsky.
I think Henry King's going to have a go here versus Joe Mahoney, who covers off Miller corner. But Brownlee's going to try to cross over under on the both of them, see if he can get a bit more mid-corner speed. But he can't, and he sits in behind, and the longer he waits, the closer Dylan Walker and Dylan Gray get. Top 5 at the moment, just being held by the pace of Joe Mahoney. Window is open, and we'll see if any of these drivers or anyone from the midfield reacts to Aaron Gilbert and Thomas Hin's pit stop. And oh dear, we're going to get word from race control.
Yep, there it is there. You can see it on top of the screen there. 15-second time penalty for Chad Lewis for the contact with the 555 of Gavin Cox that we saw. Was waiting to see what would have come of that one. That was pretty heavy contact there. And we can see now, as the two 2014 cars at the front are battling, Lockhart Brownlee is on the flashes. He is giving these guys a bit of a hurry up, saying, come on guys, come on. Maybe trying to get him a bit of a distraction and see if he can get himself through, because he can see in his mirrors, Dylan Walker, his rival for the season, is right up behind him and is coming in fast. We've just started lap 9 of this race. And not many people have made their pit stop. Chad Lewis now in for his pit stop. And we'll see how long he decides to park it up in the pits for. Lockhart Brownlee now looking racy here.
Hold your breath for Gilbert or Hin's new fastest lap of the race. Oh, yep. If you don't mind. Gilbert's going to go PB. Thomas Hin's is going to get ahead of him on track. That could be for the net race lead, Hin's versus Gilbert. This is the outright race lead for the moment with Joe Henry. But yeah, Hin's has gotten ahead of Aaron Gilbert on this lap. Something he struggled to make stick versus Haywood in race 1.
Yeah, certainly now.
Traffic for them though.
Yep, Brendan Murdoch in the 748 Mustang. Here we go. Here's a replay. Down Gardner Straight and down the inside, so complete opposite to what he tried to do with Matt Haywood in the first race. Gets it down the inside into 1, gets it cleanly done, and look at this pack. Here we go. Brake. Ooh.
Well, there's contact. Henry King gets a hello from Lockhart Brownlee, but doesn't seem to have a penalty from it. They both seem to have some dented bumpers. Dylan Walker backed it up a little bit, and he was not part of that conflagration. The three of them all entering pit lane together. Joe Mahoney stays out. Dylan Gray stays out. Daniel Stevens stays out. But from what was your top 10, I think we now had solidly 5 of them come into pit. And where will Thomas Hinds be in this battle for the net race lead? Quick stop from Lockhart Brownlee. I think those Gen 2 cars might get some pretty quick pit stops, but he's going to blend out behind. Thomas Hinds is at speed. Aaron Gilbert goes ahead as well. Alongside Murdoch, that hasn't stopped yet. Is where Lockhart Brownlee will blend. This bodes really well for Thomas Hinds and Aaron Gilbert, knowing that Brownlee was right with Joe Mahoney. If Mahoney blends out where Brownlee is now, then Hinds and Gilbert will be ahead.
Let's see where... Okay, so receiving word now from Jay that Chad Lewis has served that 15-second penalty, so he can now focus on the race and not have to worry about that hanging over his head. Joe Mahoney comes out of turn 11. He's sticking to the left. There we go. He's coming in now. So this will be a battle to see where he ends up. Dylan Gray follows through. Dan Stevens will carry on We'll see where Joe Mahoney ends up in this battle. There's Matt Haywood after his start to this one, and Wayne Taylor bringing it on through. More pit stops being done here. Peter Pavlovich and Colin Bruns carry on. Martin Lipsky for Credit Falcon there, and Mitch Nayan, number 5, coming through. There's Dylan Walker there, and Brendan Murdoch also comes through. Joe Mahoney still in the pit. This is time.
14 seconds, so a bit more fuel than necessary, and it's cost him, assuming that's what it is, unless it's counted in reversing in his pit box or something. Everyone else has basically just taken fuel to cover the 4 tyre change, maybe a tiny splash more, but we're not looking at many pit stops longer than 10 seconds. Thomas Hinz is the highest running car to have completed the compulsory pit stop, just 6 cars ahead of him that haven't stopped yet. For comparison's sake, according to ATVO timing, there's Thomas Hinz, leader of class, versus Joseph Mahoney, who had it.
So Joe Mahoney now is fallen in behind a little bit. As you can see there, as you said, big 14-second pit stop for him. Dan Stevens now will come on into the lane and bring in the number 3. Matt Haywood will carry on. So we're 11 laps down in the 21-lap race around this fantastic circuit. See if Peter Pavlovich and Colin runs. Nope. Okay, they'll carry on for another lap. So far looking pretty good here. Thomas Hinz on the back of the number 6 here, Gary Watson, who has not made a pit stop. So Gary Watson here is certainly looking like he is about to go a lap down. Thomas Hinz has found some great pace in the number 62 car. Looking back at Dylan Walker as he is in a fight here with Dylan Gray. Holden versus Ford. Just trying to get through. So Dylan Gray has found some pace now. He wasn't this close to Dylan Walker for some of this race, and now, thanks to these pit stop cycles, he's now right under the rear wing, looking for a move. Oh, bit of a touch. And is going to let him through. Don't want to get a penalty from that. So backs it up and lets Dylan Walker try and recover.
Hinz and Gilbert have both gotten past Gary Watson, who hasn't stopped yet. And there's 4 other drivers out ahead, Haywood, Pavlovich, Bruns and Lipsky, that haven't made their compulsory pit stops yet. Here's Dylan Gray, just running Mustang. Here's Matt Haywood, I think still refusing to pit. Pavlovich and Bruns just behind as well. Now, we thought that lap 16 is about as far as they'd get on fuel, so they could still run another 3 or 4 laps here. By tyre strategy, it doesn't feel optimal, but we're still in the compulsory pit stop window through the whole middle of the race. Martin Lipsky pits.
One off the counter done, and Dylan Gray now looking back at this shot here on the back of Dylan Walker, going for a move down into turn 1. He must have kept an eye on what Thomas Hinz was doing, but Dylan Walker will fight it side by side in through to the southern loop. Walker is just gonna keep that spot, so he will keep it and stay where he is. But Dylan Walker is not going to give this one up without a fight.
So tough to go around the outside of Southern Loop, but then a really good exit, really promising from Dylan Gray. So when he gets off the corner as well, then he gets into the slipstream and he challenges Walker, who then needs to defend in each braking zone. That becomes really difficult to keep up, blocking every single jab. Henry King is just behind, pitted the same lap as Dylan Walker, but Dylan Gray's got 1 lap fresher tyres for whatever that's going to matter. They've got Gary Watson in between, who still hasn't pitted, so that's a concern shortly for Dylan Walker. Lock up there from Watson, who misses the groove through MG.
Where you can see up ahead there, just in front of Dylan Walker, is Gary Watson, who has not stopped So he is blocking essentially Colin Bruns now into the pit lane. He will get out there, get some fresh tyres now. 8 to go in this one. Dylan Walker now followed through by Dylan Gray now. So it looks as though Gary Watson's still going to go down, and I'm surprised he hasn't tried to make that pit stop yet. Looks to be running long, and it doesn't seem to have worked out too well for him now. He's going to look at the bumper to bumper.
Gray gave Walker a little bit of bumper coming through turn 3 before they break into turn 4 here, and Dylan Walker still stays ahead. This is the crossover in the track. Dylan Gray though.
Crossover moment there. Dylan Gray looking to do whatever he can to get past the number 53 of Dylan Walker. And Gray's found some pace. He's actually lit a fire or something, because he's found a lot of pace. Matt Haywood now has finally conceded the lead of the 2014 cars and has pitted.
Yeah, so I think the thing that could bail out a couple of these drivers like Watson or Haywood is if they make their stop now, there's a late safety car and they restart with sort of 5 or 6 lap fresher tyres. But without that, they've lost a lot of track position. Side by side through the final corner, Dylan Gray thinks, can I get my nose down the inside there? He backs out of it, but forces Dylan Walker to leave the space. And this gives a massive run down the front straight and another bump draft heading down towards turn 1. Dylan Walker and Dylan Gray, do they think they can catch Lockhart Brownlee? Because that's not how Dylan Walker is racing, but it kind of is how Dylan Gray is racing.
Yeah, Dylan Gray seems to...
Where's the blend for Haywood? It's behind Daniel Stevens. He's inside of Daniel Stevens. He's ahead of Daniel Stevens.
So a brilliant run there by Matt Haywood. He was behind Daniel Stevens by quite a way before Dan made his pit stop. Dylan Gray here now looking for a move. A little bit easier there, side-by-side contact. And Dylan Walker is not going to give this one up. Around the outside of Siberia, down towards Hayshed. Side-by-side now. I don't think, side-by-side contact again.
Contact exiting Miller, contact through Siberia, contact through the Haysheds, but over Lukey Heights. Dylan Walker manages just to hold on, park it a little bit on the exit of MG corner. Thomas Hens goes back to the outright lead of this race with 6 laps to go. Aaron Gilbert is just on his tail. Lockhart Brownlee 3.5 seconds behind that, leads the 2019 class of cars, and then comes this battle. The podium in class and for the top 5 in the outright. Dylan Walker, Dylan Gray and Henry King over the start-finish straight in excess of 280 kilometres an hour.
Very close battle here between our contenders here. This is, as you said, for the podium in the 2019 class. Second is Dylan Walker, third is Dylan Gray, and Henry King just slowly getting up behind them, just watching this battle unfold here. Come on guys, come on, let's do this. And you can see now Dylan Gray is looking for a move. I don't know if he's used up those tires. It's 6 to go. And he's always just found that little bit of pace. So he seems to find the pace to get right up behind Dylan Walker, but hasn't found the pace to get past. He's gotten side by side before, but that's about it. A little bit of a slide there for Walker out of Siberia. And we just have a look at the back there. And it's Joe Mahoney and Matt Haywood. Matt Haywood's just gone past Joe.
Your name's not David Haynes. Sorry, just a bit of producer back channel chat, and then a bit of back chat from me because I'm feeling sassy on a Friday night, and I think we're gonna get a little bit of claws out potentially in these final laps.
That's absolutely incredible stuff here. Absolutely amazing battle here. Matt Haywood with those fresher tyres. He will be looking for some moves here. He's 4th in the class at the moment, but if these two keep squabbling,
Haywood new fastest lap of the race, closing in on this, and the contact through turn 1 will send Dylan Gray out into the grass to rejoin so carefully on the way into turn 2, but his tyres are in no shape at all. Into the marbles, into the grass for a second time. Haywood goes 2 for 1.
Absolutely brilliant stuff by Matt Haywood. Gets 2 for the price of 1. You don't see that very often. Dylan Gray is absolutely cooking it right now. He's gone for a move up the inside now of Henry King to try and salvage something.
So on board from Haywood, there's contact ahead, and then on the rejoin there's no grip on the tyres for Dylan Gray. Trying to avoid that is Henry King, and Matt Haywood sneaks in for that 2-for-1. You say you don't get 2-for-1 often, you do where I shop, you also get 10-kilogram tubs of yogurt. Thomas Hinds leads this. Matt Haywood suddenly into a podium position. Unfortunately, he's 8 seconds away from the race lead, but he will get the fastest lap of the race to his name.
Certainly, I think we might have start looking at consolidating points for fastest lap of the race in these, because they change so often. As you see now, the battle back up the front here. Thomas Hinds and Aaron Gilbert are going at a bit of a gap back to Lockhart Brownlee. So Lockhart's going to stay a bit back to consolidate his own race there and take, if he can keep it up, he can keep a win. But look at this, Matt Haywood now up the inside. Dylan Walker gets another one. Oh no, sorry, he still stays
like fresher
there.
tyres, it's like a magic trick.
Yeah, certainly happens to be. And you can see now, Dylan Walker now fighting it for what is basically 4th outright. And look at this. Oh, hang on. Okay, so Henry King backing up a little bit. A little bit of contact there. Joe Mahoney going to go through.
So much still to happen, but not too many laps for it to happen in positions changing everywhere in this compulsory pit stop race. Race 2. V8SCOPS supports from Phillip Island ahead of the big race for V8SCOPS. 500 kilometres on Sunday from Phillip Island. Gee, it's getting a bit dark and cold around the place. I wonder what Sunday's weather might look like as well. Mahoney ahead of Henry King. He's had a tough couple of laps. This is part of it for King, so he's checked up through turn 2. He gets the grass on the inside. He lights the rears up. And that's where he lost it.
Okay, that will sort of explain what happened there with Henry King. We're on board with Joe Mahoney when that all happened. Looking back now at Wayne Taylor and Peter Pavlovic, the 2 2019 cars, trying to consolidate something for themselves. 5th and 6th in class at the moment.
Pavlovich, one of those cars that ran deep into the race, stopped late. He's got newer tyres, but he's really trying to use them up. He's trying to use them up big time side by side with Wayne Taylor. You just need a good exit here to run down the front straight. Pavlovich just about get that, sit right in the slipstream for 5th and 6th in class. To the inside of turn 1. You want to be where the grip is. Taylor, is he just a tad wide? He is. You see those brake lights come on, but he still gives him the inside for turn 2. Now it's Pavlovich out in the dirty racing part of the track.
And now, as you can see now, this battle happening here between Wayne Taylor and Peter Pavlovic, and also race control with the incident under review 52 and 53. So that's Gray and Walker. They're going to have a look at the incident between the two of them. We'll see what they come up with now with 3 to go. There's battles everywhere up and down the field. Look at Peter having to try and find a move past Wayne Taylor here. He's looking left, he's looking right. He does not want to give this one up. He wants to get into what would be 5th place in class. A little bit of damage to the front of that car. And we'll see if he can make something happen. He's also found a bit of a turn of pace as well. No further action between the two, so play on.
For the most part, I'd have thought so. This is the race lead. 2 to go. Very early after their pit stop 13 laps ago, Aaron Gilbert made very little effort to defend Thomas Hinds. He looked to the inside. I wonder if there could be just a tiny bit of a fuel game afoot there. Gilbert saving after their very quick pit stops. Thomas Hinds has led most of the way, so if Gilbert saved his tyres, saved his fuel, he could yet come back at this. The slipstream has kept him close.
Certainly kept him honest as well. Aaron Gilbert hasn't let Hinds get away by much. Still got...
These guys started 8th and 9th on the grid. They made that very early pit stop. into clean air, and that undercut has worked very well for them. The early stop, giving them this significant race lead.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's helped them a lot. Thomas Hens a little bit sideways coming through MG there. We'll see if that will affect him much coming through turn 12 now. When they cross the line now, our flag man there, you can see him there at the top. White flag, 1 to go at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit to round off race 2 of V8s here on a Friday night for round 11. Thomas Hens now racing down into turn 1. Aaron Gilbert, a little bit of a space there. If he wants to push, he has to push now. Matt Haywood has gotten past Lockhart Brownie. Those tyres have worked well for him.
He's gotten to that outright podium, rejoined the race back in sort of 7th or 8th, and he's had so much grip to race back up towards that 3rd position, but he's still 6.5 seconds behind this battle for the race lead. There's a couple more car lengths suddenly between Hins and Gilbert. It's not 3/10, it's out to sort of 5/10, 6/10. If there was anything Thomas Hins was saving, I think he's using it all now. Final lap from Phillip Island, and in the lead of Gen 2 sits Lockhart Brownlee. He's got 2 seconds over Dylan Walker and Dylan Gray. And in that same class, Pavlovich and Wayne Taylor were battling, and I think Taylor went wide, found the marbles, ended up off the racetrack.
Yeah,
out of MG, Thomas Hins, 9th on the grid, but first to pit lane, taking the race lead past Aaron Gilbert. With Matt Haywood winning race 1, Thomas Hins will look to win race 2 from Phillip Island, 21 laps and a pit stop. Ford Credit banks one.
Back now here, Lockhart Brownie now will get a race win in the 2019 class. That'll help his championship fight for that as Joe Mahoney comes through as well. Looking back at Colin Bruns in the 111 MF4 car, being chased down by Sean Slater, who's managed to get back up a little bit after that start. And it looks as though Colin Bruns will hold on here for 7th in class. Look in front, I think that was Peter Pavlovich having a bit of a moment. And Colin Bruns will come across the line to take 7th in class. Wayne Taylor and Gavin Cox will come 6th and 7th. So what a finish to this one. And Thomas Hens, rightly so, doing some donuts. Let it rip.
That's part of the old circuit down at turn 4 that's now a bit of runoff. The other race winner finds him. Brownlee and Hins. It's now just part of the runoff there, but this is some Reese Gardner areas. The racetrack used to have a more sweeping hairpin there before it was reprofiled. Let's look at the complete race results. Thomas Hins from Aaron Gilbert and Matt Haywood. Lockhart Brownlee wins 2019 from Dylan Walker and Dylan Gray. Joseph Mahoney, Henry King, Daniel Stevens and Chad Lewis complete the top 10, and that's inclusive of Chad Lewis serving that 15-second penalty at his pit stop. And then Bruns was 7th in class, Slater 8th in class, Mitch Nahon 9th in class, and Gary Watson 10th. Martin Lipsky 11th, and Billy Rowley had damage and left the race. 2019 class had Pavlovich 5th in class from Wayne Taylor, Gavin Cox, Brendan Murdoch, and Dina Lessie, another retirement. Probably didn't start the race, actually.
Yeah, okay, so we've just been told he didn't compete in race 2 after the retirement for race 1. And we'll see now, after that fantastic round, we'll see if we can get some driver interviews involved here at the moment.
Yeah, a whole heap of these drivers that I imagine we're actually likely to see again on Sunday in some of the Enduro pairings. Let's go find out. Outright race winner Thomas Hins joins us when I can drag him, which I don't think I can here. And now we get Thomas Hinds joining us, winner of race 2. Clean air, track position, undercut, all very powerful in these cars.
Yeah. No, it was good fun. Just having to remember how to drive these things. It's been a while, I think, since I think it was Watkins maybe last one of these I did. So it's been a while since I've driven the 2014 cars. So, and obviously I've been doing Gen 3 for the Enduro on Sunday. So it was a bit weird coming in and just having all of the grip, and it really felt like a GT car, more a supercar. But no, great fun. Awesome battle in the first race with Maddie. Did very well to defend that. Couldn't get a run. And then second race, me and Fish pitted a bit early, and we had the pace. So managed to clear everybody, and was good fun to battle Fish. And he's a 4-time champion. This got supports for a reason. He's stupidly quick on these things. So wasn't as chill as I thought it was going to be. I guess to a degree to the end, but it's good to have a good battle to hold on to it.
So preparations for Sunday, that's kind of where our focus goes to now. Does it give you a boost of confidence, or are you going to feel all the wash when you lose that grip?
Probably I'm gonna have to do tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow or something, get back in and do a decent, just a little chunk of laps to remember how to drive Gen 3 around Eggs. It's very different. Not sure. I'm not particularly confident about the Enduros, to be honest. So I don't really drive the Gen 3s very much anymore, nowhere near as much as past generations when we've come to Enduros. So I'm not particularly practiced, so I'm not expecting anything, frankly. I think I'm going to be a bit of a handicap for Brett, but that's okay. I'll just do what I can, keep it clean, and hopefully Brett can perform some miracles and get us up the field.
We're so looking forward to it, and we'll see you then. Who do you want to thank, and best of luck come Sunday?
Thanks very much. Just thank, obviously, Henry for the paints. I will say, obviously, all of our cars, Henry did an amazing job with the retro paints. I know he loves doing the retro paints in supercars. So big thanks to Henry for putting them together and getting us all looking really, really nice on the track. Big thanks and the rest of the team as well. Obviously, Brett and Fish doing the setup work as always, doing a great job, and I just rock up and drive. So all the work really goes to them. I just drive the thing. Big thanks obviously to AOG for the support series, and the same for SCOPS on Sunday as well. Always do a great job, and big thanks to you guys for the broadcast too.
See ya.
See ya.
And Brandon, we've got our 2019 winner here.
Yeah, Lockhart, we seem to be talking to you after every single one, mate. You've just put on such a show for us. Of course, nice race win there in the last one as well. Absolutely awesome stuff.
Yes, thank you. Interesting one there. Obviously, Dylan had a fair bit of pace tonight, took out race 1. And we had the invert grid that put me in front for race 2. I feel like I had a car that had a fair bit of grip. I think I might have been running a little bit more wing than Dylan was. And I mean, that's attributed to Connor, who gets me the ancient setup to this thing. It felt like he's unbolted the wheels of his wheelchair, put it on this thing, and gave me that extra tire life. But yeah, even in race 1, it felt like I had a bit of extra grip, but couldn't capitalize on it. Made a bit of a mistake before that safety car, and got stuck behind. I think it was Dan Stevens in between Dylan and I, and then he cleared off in the distance. But yeah, taking out the race win in race 2 is obviously ideal.
Yeah, you seem to have found that extra bit of pace in race 2. Absolutely just like taken away from Dylan Walker. Like you were just pulling away quite a bit in the gap there. So this has sort of helped your championship a bit. But look, 2 to go. What are we thinking for the next ones? And are you going to be in the Enduros for V8SCOPS proper come Sunday?
Yeah, so I've cut a few laps in the in the Gen 3 already. Very different to this thing. It's so strange jumping in between this and that. Basically zero correlation. So, but yeah, no, I'll be teaming up with Blacklock this weekend for the Enduros. Won't be with him for all of them, but for this weekend I will be. But yeah, it puts me in good stead with the championship, but obviously still got a fair way to go, and it's still super tight. So can't not show up, can't have a terrible race. I need to kind of take out the rest from here on, I think. But yeah, we'll see how we go.
Well, I think if you wear that boost shirt that you're wearing now, I think I might help you because it helped you tonight. That's for sure. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go off for the night?
Yeah, obviously I want to thank Connor Nixon for the setup. Obviously want to thank everyone at AOG SCOPS and SimSpeed for putting on the event and the broadcast, everyone for showing up as well, because it wouldn't happen if no one came to the events, and obviously the sponsors of the team. So major partner being Revolution Race Gear and Cozy Engineering, HRS, and obviously Orbit Drop Bear for giving me the drive, I guess. But yes, I'll see you guys when I see you.
No, awesome stuff. Well, good luck for Sunday, and we'll hopefully see you in a couple weeks' time for Bathurst.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah, that's what it's all about with V8SCOPS. A big weekend and a big season coming up. V8SCOPS supports will be seen next time at Bathurst, but it's all about Sunday, 3:45 p.m. here on SimSpeed TV. V8SCOPS Phillip Island 500. Congratulations to all of our winners in supports today across both classes. So that's Matt Haywood, Thomas Hinds, Lockhart Brownlee, and Dylan Walker. Super well deserved. I can't wait for 500 kilometres on Sunday. You'll see it here. I've been David Haynes with Brandon Stuck and Jay Kennedy. Have a great weekend.